So Artemis II officially made splashdown on April 10th at 7:07 at 27 seconds Central Standard Time at night. I only have that drilled in my head because they said it on the stream so many times. Well, since the mission has come and gone, I suppose this is basically a farewell video for me. Probably the last time I'll talk about it, at least for a while. It makes me feel kind of sad because during the Artemis II mission, I really felt like I was there with the crew because of their constant live stream. Let me know if you felt the same way. I'm going to have all the photos from the Artemis II mission rolling in the background, but three big things I want to talk about today because there seemed to be a lot of confusion during the mission. So why didn't Artemis II land on the moon? The primary goal for Artemis II has always been a crewed test flight to the moon, never intending to land on it for this mission. The mission's job was to demonstrate Orion, its systems, and if the ground and recovery teams could safely support the astronauts through the launch, deep space, re-entry, splashdown, and recovery before moving on to bigger things. And may I add just how wonderful everyone did. The fact that the Artemis II crew traveled further than any humans ever had before was just amazing. Which reminds me, off topic, I keep forgetting to mention this in videos, but it's beautiful that Commander Reed Wiseman proposed to name a crater after his wife that passed away in 2020. That was kind of a tearjerker for me, I'm not gonna lie. Back to the topic though. Seems kind of silly to me to not test this newer technology. There's no reason for us not to. They said it a lot in the live streams that were on NASA, but they tested so much in this mission and they have so much data collected that will be used to help with future missions. The biggest thing they had tested, which I was worried about most I think, was the re-entry with the heat shield. Because if there's anything wrong with the heat shield, things could get real ugly real fast. So as Artemis II re-entered Earth's atmosphere, my heart was pounding a little. Artemis I heat shield showed more charring and cracking upon re-entry than expected. And that heat shield used in the Artemis II mission was very similar to the one used in Artemis I mission. So if we had landed on the moon before testing all these systems, it could have been way more risky. Better safe than sorry is what I always say. So why wasn't it a waste of money? Throughout the mission, I saw a lot of people saying that us just flying around the moon and back was a complete waste of money, but that's not true at all, and here's why. One of the biggest benefits is this test mission being completed has helped reduce risk significantly for when we send astronauts to the moon for the first time in a long time. Artemis II was expensive, but it could have been pricier if a later mission had failed. What people are not really talking about either is the jobs that have been created for the Moon to Mars programs, which have created a ton of jobs. We're talking thousands of jobs across the 50 United States, working on anything and everything from the SLS rocket to the software found inside Orion spacecraft. It's not throwing money into space, it's an investment into our workforce and tech industry. Plus, technology developed for these deep space missions sometimes end up in our daily lives, such as advancements in water purification, medical imaging, and battery tech, which all have roots in space exploration. So what's next? This is where things have changed a bit. So Artemis III was originally the mission to land astronauts on the moon, but that's not the case anymore. Instead, NASA now says Artemis III will be a test mission in Earth orbit focused on rendezvous and docking between Orion and the commercial spacecraft that future lunar landings will depend on. That means Artemis III is basically another major test. As of right now, the first crewed lunar landing mission, where they'll be landing on the south pole of the moon, is going to be Artemis IV, which is currently being discussed for 2028. So what are your thoughts on Artemis II and the future missions? Me personally, I think I've made it obvious, but Artemis II was so freaking exciting. I loved keeping up to date with it. I posted a lot of Artemis II stuff, and I can't wait to do the same for Artemis III, and you already know I'll be covering Artemis IV. To think that's only a couple years away from us landing on the moon again. I'm also interested to see how lunar bases would work. Obviously, we've never done anything like that before, but NASA really wants to build lunar bases. One last thing I want to add into this video before I close it out. I just want to make everyone aware that some bigger pages are still posting AI slop and passing it off as videos and photos from the Artemis II mission. And I'll attach some screenshots as an example, but just be very careful, be very wary. A lot of times with AI images and videos, you can tell when they're AI, but if you can't tell, a good rule of thumb is just double checking sources. So the Artemis II mission, the photos and videos are all on the website. or most of them are on the website. If they're not there, then there's a chance that it might be on another website. Sometimes they get posted on Flickr too. And then if it's not there, then it's likely fake or from an old mission or AI, you know. So I just want to make people wary of that. And with that, thank you so much for watching. If you love and enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing for weekly astronomy videos. I hope to see you next time, and have a wonderful day or night.